Welcome to the Yerba Power Podcast, where we share the power of yerba mate with the world. Introducing your host, Devin.
Widespread loneliness in the U.S. possesses health risks as deadly as smoking up to 15 cigarettes daily. Loneliness and isolation increase risk of dying prematurely, with a 29% risk of coronary disease and a 32% risk of stroke. The U.S. Surgeon General presented this to the White House in 2023 from an 81-page report his office produced. And I quote, "We know now that loneliness is a common feeling that many people experience. It's like hunger or thirst. It's a feeling the body sends us when something we need for survival is missing. Millions of people in America are struggling in the shadows, and that's not right." Research shows that Americans who have become less engaged with churches, community organizations, and even their own family members in recent decades have steadily reported an increase in feelings of loneliness. The number of single households has also doubled over the last 60 years. But the crisis deeply worsened when COVID-19 spread, prompting schools and workplaces to shut their doors and sending millions of Americans to isolate at home away from relatives or friends. People discarded their friend groups during the coronavirus pandemic and reduced time spent with those friends. The Surgeon General's report finds that Americans spent about 60 minutes a day in person with friends around 2000, and in 2020, that dropped to about 20 minutes daily. The loneliness epidemic is hitting young groups, ages 15 to 24, the hardest. The United States Surgeon General advises people to join community groups and put down their phones when they're catching up with their friends. Many times, social isolation and loneliness are used interchangeably. The two are connected but different. Social isolation is the lack of social contacts or having few people to interact with regularly. An individual can live alone and not feel lonely or socially isolated, just as someone can feel lonely while being with other people. Loneliness, on the other hand, is the feeling of being alone, regardless of the amount of social contact. Isolation is physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually dangerous. And as a man, I can say that it is harder and requires more intention from us as we're busy working, taking care of our families, or just whatever. There are less opportunities, and it gets harder to cultivate those friendships. Taking people from casual relationship or casual acquaintances to deep, meaningful friendships can be awkward, and we tend to be satisfied with surface level relationships. Good friendships, however, are essential to our journey to manhood, and even if you're not a man listening right now, it is crucial for your health and growth. Being involved in the community through volunteerism or faith-based religion brings joy. According to the AARP study, from other sources of joy for adults include activities such as being outdoors, physical activity, hobbies, skills, or projects, connecting with others in person, or connecting by phone or virtually. We often demonize technology for tearing us apart. However, we can use it for our advantage. Right now, if you are listening to my voice, you are connecting with me virtually, even after I've already said these words. In fact, yesterday, before recording this, I had a video call with Mark, my mate friend from Hungary, who was on this show in a previous episode. I got to connect with him through the internet. Guy I've never met in person, just talked to him on my phone. And it was like, just as if he were here. And in fact, I never met the guy before before the podcast. We just connected through message. So while it can maybe be awkward or maybe require more intention, I think you have to have the courage to try. That is what my gut tells me is that a lot of people are worried about rejection. And I try to be friendly and intentional with people, as I know, what it's like to not fit in and feel isolated. Growing up, high school, I was always kind of the oddball. Maybe you don't see that now, but you don't know my backstory of just being a band nerd, which is something in high school. I played sports, but I wasn't like the star athlete, didn't have a whole lot of friends. But now I use that kind of as a strength, and having all these random knowledge about things or different walks of life, I use that as a way to connect to other people from having something in common. So finding something in common with someone, whatever it is how we build those connections. And community is one thing about this podcast and Yerba Mate that I will not stop talking about because of such a need in our world for connection. We as humans are designed for it. And I want you to be aware of the dangers, but even better, give you solutions. I want to challenge you to reach out to someone you haven't talked to in a while. Just call them and tell them you thought about them. It's that simple. If you maybe don't want to take that even big of a step, maybe just send them a message. Send someone a kind comment. Give your loved ones some extra big hugs today and tell them that you care about them. Go outside for a walk. Smile. Tell someone good morning. Realize that person is probably going through battles in their minds that you know nothing about. You might be having a bad day, but you don't know what that other person's going through right now. There's a musician that I had the opportunity to meet here in Nashville, and he has this saying that I like that says, "Don't be lonely by yourself," which what I take to mean is if you're feeling lonely, someone else is too. Someone else probably has it worse than you. Be the friend that you want someone to be, and not only will you feel better, but make someone else feel better too. And lastly, let me put this out there for all of you. There's another big opportunity for you that I'm very excited about, and even myself, pushing myself to bring this out into the world. So I'm working with Billy Goat Coffee Shop in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, which is on eastern outside of Nashville. You can look them up, Google if you're anywhere nearby, or check on the social. I'll be posting more about that because basically we're working on just getting the details. So I'll keep you in the loop so we don't miss out. It'd be great for you to show up and meet you in person, share a time and experience with you. So if you're nearby and can make it, we want you there. All we got to do is just work out, a date and a time. And again, I'll make sure you're informed well in advance. Love to see you there. Don't be lonely. Don't be isolated. Connect and make someone else's day. Even if you're not feeling better right now, take that next little step of courage and you'll begin to feel better. Because what we need is more community and connection. Thank you for listening. See you next week.